Hi again folks, how are you all doing? This is a Hornby Railroad 9F that was sent to me by Duncan. He told me that the chassis in both the locomotive and the tender suffered badly from Mazak Rot. He managed to replace the chassis in the locomotive and he's fitted a replacement plastic one in the tender, but he's been unable to get this to run and through the toweling. Sounds like it's been through a fair bit of jiggery faffery to me. Let's shove it into the shed and we'll see what's what. Alrighty ho, a 9F. I haven't worked on a 9F for a wee while, and I think this might actually be the first locomotive driven 9F I've worked on. I'll need to check back through my videos, but I think all the others I've worked on have been tender drives. Right, okay. So Duncan said this had Mazak Rot in both the tender and the locomotive, and he's changed the chassis in the locomotive. And he said he's fitted a plastic one in here. I mean, that is ridiculously light. The middle wheels are missing. This would originally have had a Ringfield motor casing in it and weights. The bearings are on the axles, so I don't like that. That's making the wheels lopsided. So, let's just open this up. Blimey. Does this just pop out? Yeah. I'm not convinced that, I'm not convinced that that's a very good idea. I've had a rummage in my spares and I've got quite a few spare Ringfield parts. I think it might be better. Would that fit in there? To fit that and get some weights in. I'm sure I've got some as well, and I've got some wheels that can probably fit in there. So yeah, I think I'm going to try that rather than have that, because I need to put some weights in. That's the original bearings, but they're the bearings that would have been set into the motor casing. You don't want them in there. Yeah, I'm not keen on that idea, but we'll try putting these wheels into that motor casing. We'll find some sort of wheel for the middle. It might not be a spoked one, but we'll put something in the middle and we'll see if we can get that sorted. So I'll put that to the side just now. We'll get a look at the locomotive. Let's take this front bogie off. We've got a wire disconnected on the drawbar there. Undo that. That then comes out. Come on, out you come. Right. Yeah, I don't recall looking at one of these before. We've got a disconnected wire there. I'm pretty sure that's the one that connects to the other motor terminal. So there's the motor. 8-pin blanking plate fitted. So I think we'll get the disengage this motor. Check that it works okay, and we'll check the gears. It comes off. Oh, flywheel. So the gears must be in here. Of course they are. Don't know why I was expecting gears to be there, but of course they're not. They're at this end because they're driving these wheels. Dafty. Right. Let's take that tape off. Gets that out, and there are the gears, which look okay to me. It just sits in there. Yeah, that wire's just popped off, so we'll solder that back on. And it might go at that actually, but we're going to have to look at the axles and the pickups and everything. So yeah, let's solder this up. strip that a wee bit. Yeah, I think there's a wee bit broken off that terminal. Some of this will solder off first. Okay, so with the motor disengaged, wheels seem to turn okay. Let's see if the motor spins. So I've put this on the test track with the motor disengaged. Let's just turn on the power. Yeah, the motor runs. So we know the motor works. Let's pop it back in place. We'll get some grease and oil into the gears, bearings. Nice big dollop of silicone grease in there. Pop that back on. So we'll pop this back on the test track and see if it runs. Okay, turn on the power. And away it goes. Oh. Oh, that's not good. So it's going okay forwards, but it's grinding going backwards. We'll have to have another look at it. So yeah, we've got an issue going backwards, and right enough, look, the wheels are turning. So, let's remove this. There's pickups going to all the wheels apart from the middle ones. I think we need to undo this drawbar at the back. Alright, okay. So it's this wheel that's been driven by the gears. And we've got 2 intermediate gears and then the drive gear on the axle. So the drive gear seems okay. I wonder if there's another gear I can't see. Right, I think there's nothing else for it. We're just going to have to dismantle this. We'll get the wheels off. And we'll need to see if we can get into the gears. Take that off. Right, that should allow the wheel set to come out. So these 2 gears will come out by knocking out the spindles, as well as that one, but I think there's another gear. Let's undo that screw. There's another screw under the socket. Take the blanking plate out. Undo that. There's another screw in there. Now, that should allow that to lift out. And then we can get into the gears, sort of. Yeah, there's another gear. There's this gear on the top, then there's a gear underneath that, and then there's the 2 gears I'm seeing there. That spindle out. There we go. I'm wondering if one of the gears was slightly out of position. They're all okay. Quite a few foreign objects in this top gear. It was up on the top there. Tiny wee bits of plastic. Okay. I think we'll give them a scoosh and a clean up, and we'll put them back and see what happens. Right, I'll give them a wee scoosh. None of them are split, but they're all rotating on their spindles anyway. You know, these are just intermediate gears, as that goes. If they're all, you know, if they're all interlocked with each other, they should all turn each other. The worm gear should drive that, which drives that, which drives that, which drives that, which then drives the drive gear. And the drive gear is fine. So long as the drive gear and the worm gear are engaging with these gears, it should work. But something was causing it not to work, going backwards, and I'm kind of thinking that one of these gears had got itself out of position. Don't really know. We'll just have to put them back in and see what happens. Line the gear up with a pin. And then tap that through, I think. It's that gear in. Right, that's all the gears back in, and they're all turning. Yeah, I would say they're fine. We'll get a load of gear oil in there, but I really don't know what the problem was there. It didn't make any sense. However, that looks okay. If I pop this, jinx. I'm getting a right mess with the wires here. Dearie, dearie me. The other possibility is that the motor was lifting, but I don't know about that. Right, we'll screw this back down. I don't like this, it's just such a tangle. But we'll screw this back together. Right. Of course, I'm going to have to take this off again to get the motion bracket and everything back in place, but I just want to test this again, just without the wheels, just to see that the gears seem to work okay. That's fine. And that's fine. Okay, that all seems fine. So I've had the gears out, cleaned them up, chucked them back in. Initially I thought maybe one had got itself slightly out of position, but no, I don't think so. You know, there's nowhere for them to go. There was a tiny little piece of plastic caught in the teeth of the very top gear. It's possible. I don't know. Until I get the wheels back in and test this again, I don't know if I've fixed it or not. But yeah, a bit odd. Interesting though, taking the gears out like that. It's not something I do very often. But yeah, got myself into a bit of a girdle here. Right, what time is it? Oh, it's just about beer o'clock. I shall come back to this tomorrow, I think.